This is the TourBox Neo. At first glance it looks pretty strange, like what even is this thing? Essentially, it's a remote that you can assign your favorite hotkeys to, such as undo, redo, save, etc., in order to access them easier while you're working. Instead of using your keyboard to activate these software-specific commands, you use the buttons on the TourBox. What's really cool about this is that you can set presets for each software that you use. The TourBox Neo is marketed towards creative professionals that work in the digital field. What's the purpose? To provide comfort and speed as we get through our daily routine. What's up guys, it's Sebastian here from Noble Frugal Studio. TourBox Tech sent me over their TourBox Neo for review, so that's what I intend to do. I was not paid to make this video, and I didn't agree to say anything specific about the TourBox Neo. These are just my thoughts on the product based on the time that I've had with it. So, how do you use the TourBox? Like this. So you all can see the TourBox right here in my hand. This is how it works. So once you download the software, all you have to do is start it up. So I'm gonna go on my tray and hit TourBox console. And then you'll see this screen. So I put my hand on the TourBox. Right now it's on the general preset. And the way that you do that is you have to put auto switch on. So I've switched that on, and when you hit create new preset, you can name it general. I'm gonna do basic since I already have a general one. Create that, and then you hit this link setting, and you can hit global or other applications. And that'll make it so any application that you haven't specified a preset for, it'll default to this one, and it'll automatically switch to it when you start that application. So I'm gonna get rid of this since I don't need it. So here's the menu where you customize your shortcuts. So what I'm gonna do in order to show you how to use this is I'm going to customize a shortcut profile for GIMP, a free 2D image editing software. So I'm gonna hit create new preset, GIMP, hit create. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click the link section, make sure that you have auto switch on, scroll down until I can find GIMP. So in order to pick an application from the list, you actually have to launch it first. So now it's appearing. So I'm gonna hit GIMP and hit OK. So we can click on the GIMP preset, make sure we're clicked on it, and then our TourBox is clear. So basically, if you press a button on the TourBox, it'll automatically go to that entry in the software. I press this long button here, then it'll take me to where that is in the software. I can double tap it, I can set a hotkey for that. You have this button, you have these two buttons up here, this dial, this other dial, scroll wheel. So you don't really have to like scroll down the list and then edit every hotkey. You can just press it and it'll take you automatically to it, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna open up GIMP and just start a new file so I can start configuring my shortcuts. So I want this scroll wheel to be zoom in and zoom out because that's usually the way I do it with image editing programs. Go to the TourBox console, scroll the knob, and then I'm going to set this to mouse scroll reverse. Let's see it in GIMP. Is that working? No, because in GIMP it's actually not mouse scroll. You don't just scroll the mouse to zoom in, zoom out. I think you have to press control. So we go back to TourBox. Let's go control plus mouse scroll reverse. That should do it. We go back in GIMP. Nice. Now when we scroll this, it'll zoom in and zoom out. Sweet. A good thing to have when you're setting up shortcuts for a program is to have the shortcuts menu pulled up in the program itself so you can set them. Edit keyboard shortcuts. I'm gonna mainly mess with the view ones right now. Let's see. So if you have a keyboard shortcut that isn't already set in the software, you have to set it to a key first before you can set it on the TourBox. So this rotate 15 degrees clockwise, I'm gonna set to this period, enter. Then this counterclockwise one, I'm gonna set to comma. I'm gonna hit save. Now when we do this, it should be able to rotate the screen. It doesn't seem to be as fast as other programs, so I might not be using this command that much, but basically you get the point. So I'm gonna set that to this dial right here. This one's going to be comma, and this one's going to be period. This dial in the middle is reserved for brush size increase and decrease. I use that across all of my programs, like OpenTunes, Critus. Let's go to a brush. Now when I scroll this, as you can see, the numbers going up and the brush area is going up. So I can draw it very big, and if I want it really small, I can scroll it very, 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 very small. Then I'm gonna have these buttons right here for undo and redo. So let's go in here, hit this button, just hit Control Z. This one will be Control Y. So setting up a program is actually its own process. You come up with your own control scheme for the TourBox and customize it to your own comfort. I'm gonna show you mine in Krita now because that's the one that I'm most comfortable with, that I spent some time editing. So let's hop over. All right, so now we're in Krita, and as you can see, it automatically changed to my Krita preset. It's pretty similar to the GIMP one. Rotation is this dial. Krita has this little degrees thing up here, so you can always tell when you're at 0. Zoom in and zoom out is this scroll wheel. Brush size increase and decrease is this dial. Undo, redo. And I have this button right here is brush, this is eraser. And it allows you to kind of just get to work really, really quickly. Like if I just wanted to make a quick sketch, I find it much easier to use the TourBox than a keyboard, because some commands just aren't natural to input on a keyboard. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let's get this kind of basic sketch down. So while doing this, I can just kind of zoom in, I can undo and redo. And for things like rotation, I find that these shortcut keys work so much better than a keyboard. Like for example, the Artist 24 Pro that I'm using right now has this dial right here, and that's set to zoom in. And I used to use these a lot, but with the position I'm at right now, where I have my tablet sort of facing at a very steep angle, these aren't so comfortable to use. So having this right here, this sort of secondary keyboard function, allows me to have that scroll wheel function, and it has much more customizability than the 24 Pro, because the 24 Pro isn't just made as a key remote, it's a drawing tablet as well. But this is a dedicated shortcut key remote that really just makes functions like rotation and zooming in and zooming out with these tactile buttons feel really, really natural, and it really does change the way you work. One thing I found that about the TourBox that really changed my workflow is the speed. I'm able to do functions faster, and my work is faster. So honestly, I didn't think it was gonna have that big of an effect on my work, but one of the things that it really had an effect on was when I make music. Being able to scroll through the timeline and nudge certain events actually proved to be very, very useful, and it sped up my workflow. Usually I spend less time, controlling the mouse, trying to zoom in, zoom out, zoom horizontally, zooming in on areas, and I can just focus on making music. So really, it is a great tool, and it works very well. All right, so I won't keep you guys much longer. I'm gonna wrap up this video with what I like about the TourBox and what I don't like. First of all, what I like. I really like how it speeds up your workflow. Especially when I make animations, I'm able to use the dials on the TourBox to flip between the frames of my animation. As an animator, it's really, really helpful, and I did the same thing with the dials on the Artist 24 Pro back when I used them. Animation programs like OpenTunes have a lot of shortcuts and a lot of hotkeys that are necessary at different times. Since I'm an animator who does every step of the process, so storyboarding, rough animation, and final animation, I need a lot of shortcuts, and the TourBox definitely delivered. I'm able to configure my TourBox for multiple workflows, which is really nice. Another thing that I like, which is kind of a pro and a con, is that it's comfortable to use in your hand. The material that it's made out of may attract fingerprints. It doesn't look the best on camera, but it is comfortable to use. You have so many customization options available with the TourBox. Like you can double click something, you can do a combination of buttons. It's really, really intuitive, and that I really do appreciate that. It really does help for pro users like me. Another thing that's kind of a pro and a con is that the TourBox is what I call one of those ultra premium products. So the website, the driver, the hardware itself just feels really, really good to use. It's intuitive, it's easy to get used to, everything just works flawlessly. And that kind of leads us into our list of things that I don't like. One of the things I don't like is that it's kind of expensive. The TourBox goes for around $169 on Amazon, and that's a lot of money for this sort of device. But like I said, it's one of those ultra premium devices, so everything that you get is gonna work really well, and that's the price that you pay for those things. Another thing I don't like is that I feel like for the price, this should have come with a wireless dongle, or I feel like for this price, it definitely should have a wireless option. Well, that'll do it for my thoughts about the TourBox Neo, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you to TourBox Tech for sending me your TourBox Neo for review, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.